Good morning. Good morning. It is a Saturday morning, and I never periscope on the weekends, but I had a couple of minutes, so I just wanted to catch you guys up in terms of where I've been. I know that it won't probably be as full as it usually is on weekdays because it is the weekend and people are resting and are enjoying their families. Good to see you. Good to see you guys. Totally missed you guys as well. I missed you. I missed you. It's good to be back. Good to see you. Good morning. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a summary of my trip and where I have been and what's going on in my life, catch up, and then I've got to where in the world have I been? A little bit of everywhere. Good morning. Good morning. And we'll talk a little bit about answering your call to the nations. This is kind of a buzzword. Everybody wants to have a calling to the nations or international ministry. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Then I've got to go because I'm actually resting. I'm on a small vacation, resting, and I ran to the store because today, see those blue and pink balloons? Today is my sister's gender reveal party. I am an aunt for the first time, and so I'm super excited. The husband let me know the sex, so I get to put together the gender reveal party. And so we're having a small family vacation, and we're going to get to show the world whether she is having a boy or a girl, whether I get to be an aunt to a niece or a nephew. So all right. So for those of you guys who did not know, I traveled out of the country. I was in Cameroon. We left, June 19th? We left June 19th, and we were there. And no, I'm backwards. I'm sorry. I'm still a little bit jet lagged because I have been going. We left June, I think 12th. I don't know, Monday. We left June 12th, and we went to Cameroon. I have a daughter. Her name is Faith. Call me. She's out of New York, and she has a foundation called Raising a Generation of Esthers. And this apostolic girl put together a conference as well as a missions trip for one whole week. Invited me to be her guest. So when we went to Cameroon, that's the nation that she's from. We took a team of 8 people. We got there, we did TV interviews to get out information for a conference that we had. We had a conference called the Beautiful You Conference. And the heart of the conference was really to encourage women to understand who they are and their beauty inside and out. But prior to the conference, we had TV interviews where we talked about while we were there. We had trips to the women's prison. It was a whole prison, but we took sanitary napkins and we ministered to them. Favor did an amazing job having sponsors from all around the U.S. provide resources for the women in the prison. So we took them. We will do it. Oh, there she is. Is that her? Yeah, she's on. So we will do it in other countries soon. So we did that. Then we went to the orphanage, and they had raised food and all these things for us to take to the children there. We didn't get to stay as long as we wanted at the orphanage and just love on them, but you can imagine when we're talking about third world countries, these prisons and these orphanages are like, they're nothing. Like our prisons and our orphanages are like palaces compared to what we had to see. And of course, for you guys know I was born in Africa, so it was good being back home. Cameroon, the area that we were in needs a lot of prayer, needs a lot of help. It is actually the English speaking side, and so the French side really doesn't. The nation is bilingual. They speak French and English, but one of the issues in Africa is what we call nepotism or tribalism. When people are from the same region, they tend to elect people from the same region or people who are like them. And then they tend to oppress the other people. And so the side that we were in, the English-speaking side, is actually more of the oppressed side. So we just had a chance to minister and just see the region and pray for the region. Then we were part of a leadership conference. I taught 4 times at the leadership conference. God was amazing. People are so hungry. We take it for granted here. We have so much access to information. We ministered at the leadership conference. The other team members ministered there. And then what was that? Then our conference. We did our Beautiful You conference, and it was amazing. I'm exhausted. I taught about 6 times during that time. I got back. Getting back into America was rough. So this is one of the things. If you feel like you're called to the nations, you need to be flexible. You cannot be like, I like things a certain way. You get flustered when things change. You have to have your schedule from point A to point B. You're not going to do very well when you go outside the country, because things are constantly changing. Things are constantly coming up. So one of the things that you have to learn when you travel is flexibility to schedules, flexibility to changes. The other thing that you have to learn is flexibility in your food choices. You cannot be an American and say, well, I only eat soul food. I only eat Chinese food. I only eat this. If you really feel like you have a calling to the nations, begin to diversify your palate, because you're going to be given food that you've never eaten before. And it is rude in most nations to give them back their food or to slide it under the napkin. So you need to learn flexibility in your in your palate. Okay, the next thing is you need to have friends outside of your circle. You cannot say I'm called to the nations and all your friends look like you and they're in the same you all come from the same background. No, you need to make sure that you make friends of other people. Now, in African nations, you can most likely get everything that you need, but there are going to be some places that you go to in the bush where you're not going to have some of the access to the stores. But don't think if you're going to Africa or to Asia, I've been to almost 14 countries, that you're going to go away and someone said no ketchup and no ice. Not really. Unless you're in the bush, unless you actually go into like the bush, then you're gonna give up some of that stuff. But the taste, even the way the drinks taste, are based on the taste palette of that nation. If you eat McDonald's in China, it's gonna taste very different. Like in Hong Kong, where I've been, it's gonna be very different than if you eat McDonald's here. So you cannot be a picky eater. Okay, you cannot be inflexible. You have to be bendable. You have to be willing to allow schedule changes. You have to be fluid. Okay, you have to love people, because you're gonna meet people that are so excited that you're there. They're gonna want to hug you. They're gonna want to talk to you. They're gonna want to. South Africa is like one of the most developed countries in the world. Someone says they asked for ice there. You must have been in the villages. Because I've been there several times. My aunt lives there, and they have everything. They have even better cars than we have here. But anyway, so you have to learn flexibility. I think that's going to be the biggest thing. You have to have friendships outside of your circle. You need to study languages. Learn, one of the things we have to work with our team members on is learning how to speak slowly. If you go to a foreign nation, whether it's Europe, Russia, Asia, speak slowly. You cannot go there speaking your Americanese and expect them to understand what you're saying, especially if you're preaching or teaching. You need to make sure I was talking like this the whole time so that they could understand what I was saying. Not that they didn't speak English. We were in the English speaking aspect, but our accents are different. So you need to make sure. Don't go there with an elitist mindset. This is the last one I'm going to give you guys because I got to go. But don't go there with an elitist mindset. There's a book called The Great White Hope, where missionaries and people from the Western culture go into foreign nations thinking they're going to save these people. They're going to bring this great revival to this land. Some of the people in those nations love God more than we do. They're more on fire than we do. So when you do missions or when you go to the nations, go with a heart to learn. Go with a heart to understand the people. Go with a heart to serve, not to be served. We have people who go, they want to go to a nation so that they can put it on their website that they've been to a nation. They're going there. They want to be driven around in limousines and, have all these things. That's not why we go. Okay. Lastly, I would encourage every single person to go on a missions trip. If you are a believer, go to Mexico, go to a bad part of Miami, go somewhere outside of your city, go to South America, go to Canada, go somewhere, because when you go to other nations, you get to see how big God really is. God is not what you see in your Sunday mornings and on your Wednesday nights or Thursday nights. God is much bigger. The expression of God in other nations allows you to understand how big the kingdom is. So I would encourage all of you guys to do that. So we returned on the 19th. Our flight from Cameroon to Paris was late. Paris is one of my favorite places and favorite airport. But let me tell you the craziness that it took me to get back in the country. It was 1 hour late. So when we got to Paris, we missed our connecting flight from Paris to New York. I won't even tell you the logistics and the craziness that it took to get on the next flight from Paris to New York, and then I had to fly from New York to Raleigh. I was exhausted. I got home at about 8 p.m. on Tuesday night. Turned around Wednesday night. I spoke at an event in Wilmington, North Carolina, which was absolutely amazing. My friend Nico Peel holds a school for high school students and college students, and they do a 5-day training for young adults, and I preached there. It was amazing. And then Thursday, I've been on vacation ever since. So I am resting. I will jump back next week. We'll get back to teaching and connecting. Make sure that you guys are registering for our Legends Conference in Raleigh. That's coming up July 20th, 21st, and 22nd. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be life changers. It's not just for leaders. It's for anybody who feels like they have a legacy of God in the earth, and as well as the School of the Prophets that's coming up. So bless you guys. Just wanted to touch base. I will talk with you guys next week. They're still talking about ice. Africans normally drink their water room temperature. They don't really take ice in it, surprisingly. But you should be able to find ice in a developed nation like South Africa and most other nations. So she had an interesting experience. Any questions? Nations mission. Someone had posted something. I'll answer it quickly before I go finishing up. All right. Bless you guys. My Legacy Church, I miss you. I love you. I will see you soon. I'm going to hit the ground running church-wise, so y'all better be ready. We have an incredible summer coming up. All right. Talk to you guys soon. Have a great, great, great Saturday. Bye-bye.